All right, to finish up this app, let's go ahead and give the users the ability to delete awards. So right now we've only got a single award right here, and we'll need to add a delete button. We'll do that right next to the award. So right here underneath where we display the award, we're going to create a button, and we'll actually create first a div with a class of buttons. And this is only going to show up if the user is registered and logged in. So only if there's a current user. And then we're going to create a button. This one's going to have a class of btn delete, just like before. And then it'll also have an award tooltip class. Let's go ahead and make this window bigger so we can see this better. And when somebody clicks on this button, we'll use the ng click directive. We will execute a function called delete love, and we'll pass along the ID of the check-in that we want to delete. So we'll say check-in.id as well as the key of the check-in. So let's go ahead and add the span. And this is just so the tooltip shows up, and we'll just say delete this award. And now let's go ahead and add some comments here. So buttons. And now that we have the delete button, let's go ahead and save that. And we should see a delete button when we show this item right here. And I think we probably need to move this div underneath all of these buttons so that they look a little better. And let's check that out. Yeah, that looks a lot better when I embed all these buttons in the award. So let's scoot that over a little bit. And this will be award here. All right, so we've got the button. It's time to write the functionality in the controller. It's going to be pretty easy. Most of it is going to be getting the right URL. So I'm going to put it right here. Scope, delete, love. It's going to be a function, and it's going to take in 2 parameters, the check-in ID as well as the award information, right? So we're going to need to get a path just like we've done before. So let's go ahead and grab this right here and paste it because it's going to be pretty similar. So we'll need to get the reference to the item that we want to work with. And this is going to be a new Firebase object, starting with the Firebase URL, the user's path, as well as the user, and then meetings, scope which meeting, just like we've done before. You get to the individual check-in, and in here we can just use the check-in ID because we're passing along the ID proper this time. And then just find the awards section, right? And I need to create a record here. So I'll create a variable. So record, this is going to use the Firebase object and use our reference. And sometimes you'll need to use the Firebase object instead of the Firebase array. It just depends on which methods you want to use. So let's go ahead and let's take a look up here for a second. So notice that whenever I want to actually remove something, I need to treat it as an object. So in the same way that we removed the previous record or the check-in by operating on this Firebase object, we need to do the same thing with the love. But whenever we're adding an element, we add it as an array. So let's go ahead and right here, just go ahead and use record. And then we'll use the remove method and remove the award that we are interested in getting rid of. And that's pretty much it. I mean, let's go ahead and save this and take a look at our application. Right now, we've only got one sort of gift here. And let's go ahead and click on this and it should be gone. Even if we pull it up again, let's give him another hug. We hit the plus sign and it adds it. You can see it right there. And now we can also delete the awards. And that's pretty cool. It's a pretty complete application. I think the main thing is learning to work with the paths in Firebase. They can be a little complicated. And then the next thing is figuring out when you can use the different services. As I mentioned, sometimes you'll want to use a Firebase array when you're dealing with certain types of data. And traditionally, that is when you're working with a list in Angular that you have to maintain as an array. And sometimes when you want to access certain methods, you want to use the Firebase object. The way to find out more about those types of API methods is by checking the Firebase API. Editors, let me go ahead and give you a link to the Angular Fire API, and you can just show that at the end. Yeah, you can just show this URL at the end. Let me just say one more sentence that I got here, and then we can be done. So I'm the kind of person that really learns more by doing something than by reading about it. So make sure that you practice these techniques, and you'll be creating awesome apps that can change the world.